Hi, and welcome to Sometimes It's Just a Haircut and Not a Political Statement in
In
5D.
5D. I do want to compliment you. You are looking particularly shiny today, and I like it.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Apparently my psoriasis, as you can see here, has been running crazy underneath my beard, but I didn't quite notice just how bad it had gotten. And then once I noticed it, shaved it off, saw how bad it was, and so now it looks like I just need, it's up on the side of my head. It's looking like I'm just going to be the kind of person who needs to have minimal hair and needs to have a regular haircut schedule instead of when I decide I feel like doing it. So that's going to be a thing.
Yeah, I fully understand because I got similar things going on. But for me, I have this beautiful full head of hair. So
Yeah,
even
see, I
if,
was losing it anyway, so it's not a big deal.
like even if I cut it that short, which I often do, that's my choice. Maybe not
I
that
can see
short.
my fan picking up on my microphone, so sorry, people in Homeland. Let me turn it
He's
off.
not really sorry. He just says
I'm not.
things like that.
It was making me comfortable, so really, fuck y'all. But okay, go on.
It's
Your
fine.
hair. Go on about how you have good genes, and I come from
Well,
dirt
at
people.
least I have good enough genes to keep my hair on my head. But no, I still cut it fairly short. I don't go scalp. I go, I guess on the sides I go scalp. It's a 0 and a 3 up top. But even when I do that, I'm like, it seems like I'm making a bit of a statement. I even tell the guy, I was like, can you make it less military? Because I just ain't trying to be about that life, but I like my hair short.
See, but mine's like, hey, is there any way to do this and not look racist? No? All right, cool. I guess that's just the life we live
Yeah,
now.
that's fair. I mean, I guess unless you want to wear a toupee.
I'm thinking maybe get some Mork from Orc Rainbow suspenders.
That's
You
funny.
know, I just feel like you can't have both of those things. So
Yeah, at that
it's
point,
really what does it's the bald head and the death metal shirts. Just people assume a certain thing once you do that.
that's true. I was also gonna say if you switch to the rainbow suspenders, then you switch from being a racist to one of the other ists, and well, actually no. At that point, you're just filing things away.
Hey, what are we talking about this week?
Not you and children.
Why would I be around children?
Exactly why.
Ugh.
Um, I actually wanted to talk about something. I know you haven't watched the show, but I'm hearing it's getting mixed reviews, and I don't understand why. Uh, Sandman, the Sandman,
Yeah.
on Netflix by WB. I was surprised about that. I expected it on like HBO Max or something.
Yeah, I did as well, but I'll take it.
Yep, no, perfectly fine. So I like it. Let's just get that out of the way. My wife likes it surprisingly, and
That is a little bit of a shocker.
she's into it. I'm sure it also has to do with the fact that it's that emo '90s aesthetic with the thin, gothic looking dude. It's a whole thing. I was very surprised that that's what they went with, but it matches the comics. So also just big disclosure, I guess. I haven't read the comics. I have a general idea what they're about, but yeah, I think the acting's spot on. They're taking some of the concepts and they're not really shying away from them. I'm glad it's on Netflix and one of the streaming services, because if this was done to be like on either network television and even cable TV, I think they'd be pulling some punches.
Fair.
So I'm trying to be as spoiler free as possible, right? So
Keep going. I'm gonna open a window because it's
yeah,
hot as
fair
fuck
enough.
without that
I
damn
think
fan
the
on.
effects are also pretty good. Some of the CGI itself is, it's just a little, it's rough, right? Because
Look, it's a TV budget. It's not a movie budget.
exactly. So some of the effects I think would be served better, but like it is a compelling story, and at one point you go, okay, so they're done, right? Like this is going to be a short season. They managed to like keep it going and keep you interested. It very much feels like what I've always wanted, which is this supernatural show that just leans into the supernatural. It says this is a thing. It's it's very fantasy noir. It's I like it.
Okay.
Very much into it. There are a couple things that, if I had to guess, people are probably pissed that they did a, what I'm guessing is a gender swap on John Constantine.
Oh, I didn't know that. I did know that there was some casting drama even before it came out. A lot of people were unhappy that the person cast as Death was black, which I thought was a little weird considering Death was also a flower at one point, and they didn't cast Death as a flower, so I don't know why it matters. But I didn't hear about the Constantine thing. That's not the big complaint I've heard since it's come out.
Okay, cool. I'm glad. Restores a little bit of hope in humanity. Maybe people didn't make the connection, but
Is her name still John?
Johanna.
Okay.
So,
I would have still just called her John.
well, what's interesting is that
Oh, your name's John? She'd be
the
like, yep.
the
Name's
character
fucking
of
John.
Joanna Constantine is actually canon New Earth stuff.
Oh, well then, so
As
did they really gender swap, or did they just
No,
bring in
because
the
it's
Elseworlds?
no, it was an ancestor to John Constantine. So in this, it was the ancestor, but also the current iteration were both female.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and there was also like Joanna Constantine, full like relationship with another girl. They completely show it, lean into it. It's
Oh, yeah.
I like it. I like I said, you would not be able to do this in network television on that alone,
Sure.
right? Like, and the character's still a dick, just like John Constantine. I
As it
thought it
should
was
be.
really well done. I believe the actress was one of the companions from Doctor Who.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I'm trying to remember because her name is Jenna Coleman. She was, I think, Capaldi. Maybe
Yeah,
end
I
of
never watched the Capaldi stuff.
End of Smith, begin of Capaldi, I think.
Okay.
But yeah. So, anyways, what are people pissed about? Tell me why people are angry.
So the biggest complaint I've seen, I'm not going to cite any sources on this one. It's just been a
It
few
doesn't
different like
matter.
Reddit reviews and
Mm-hmm.
a couple of different websites I've all seen say that the show just comes out kind of boring. They just don't feel that it's a solid adaptation, and it just feels like a lot of talking and not a lot of anything happening.
Okay. I can see why they would say that, but again, I've never read the comic,
Sure.
so
Well, and here
I don't have that crutch.
I would say I'm a little worried now having seen that because for me, a few shows people have been enjoying, but are in this more fantasy, mystical kind of genre, for me, have been coming out really boring.
Mm.
I thought the Golden Compass one that they just did recently was really boring. I thought Wheel of Time was really boring. There's just been a few of these fantasy shows they're trying to whip. Witcher I liked, but like I still haven't done season two because the first season was fun, but it was one of those ones like I want to do an episode a day, and I'm really not going past that.
Yeah, I
Um,
feel that, but they
so
do get a little long in the tooth, for Witcher
so
specifically.
well, and my problem is with so much fantasy, they spend so much time feeling a need to kind of almost talk down to the audience or go on these really roundabout huge explanations that seem really out of place because like who are you really explaining it to? I just worry about that with fantasy, and it is coming off on boring because we haven't found a better way to drop the kind of background knowledge you need for basic things to work in fantasy, and books have a chance to really do that. Movies and shows, it's a lot harder. And so I get without even having seen the show, I'm a little worried about this being a little boring, and can totally see how this might get a little fucking boring.
Um, I don't know. I personally wasn't. I actually, it was the opposite. Where for me, normally I watch a show like this and I'm on my Switch. I actually
Hmm.
found myself putting my Switch down a lot because I
Okay.
wanted to catch the story, because in certain ways words mattered.
Okay.
There's this whole
Words
stint,
hurt.
right? There's this whole stint where the titular character has to travel to hell,
Okay.
and the way that one of the like confrontations in hell, the way that it was done was fantastic. It wasn't overly Well, again, this is I don't know how much to say. Let's just say that they the combat wasn't your what you're usually used to,
Okay.
right? It was
Sexy.
I it kind of yeah,
Oh,
sort of.
I okay.
No, no, I'm joking. No, not that at all. It was metaphorical,
Ah, it's
but
the idea of combat.
yeah, sort of. But the director did a really solid job of showing instead of telling,
Okay.
right? And I thought it was fascinating and interesting.
All at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because this has been done before, but showing it on screen and having the actors like play it out, I thought was pretty brilliant. Um, I, I there's one thing I don't like that Patton Oswalt's voicing one of the characters.
You like Patton Oswalt?
I just don't think his voice fits for this.
Okay.
He's playing a raven,
Okay.
and like he's supposed to be being very like at one point noble and like, no, dude, you can trust in me. But it sounds like if he gets distracted by a shiny thing, he's probably just gonna do that anyways, and not really
Mm.
come through. But his character's coming through. Just the voice doesn't match.
He's doing a lot of voice work these days, though.
Like I'm not mad at him. I don't think like I just it's
You hate
like
him now. You want him to die.
well, it's like Peter Dinklage. He's a fantastic voice actor and he's a fantastic actor. But in Destiny, motherfucker just phoned it in.
Bro, I'm so excited for his Toxic Avenger. I just rewatched the first two.
Yeah, how do you feel?
Okay, look. Nobody is walking away from a trauma film and going, "My God, a hidden gem." You know what I mean? Like, you're not rewatching Toxic Avenger and stumbling out of there being surprised at anything.
Yeah.
Uh, if you like trauma films, yeah, man, Toxic Avenger still got it. It's stupid, it's over the top, uh, it's low budget. It's a lot of fun. I've only done the first two. I imagine the budget maybe gets super adjacent with the next couple of films,
That's funny.
but I'm really excited for the remake.
All right. Well, before we get completely off base here, but yeah, for Sandman, it was good. It does a good job of telling a story. There are interesting bits of humor. I will say the main actor does a great job of playing this out of touch being that the Sandman's supposed to be.
Okay.
The actor name's Tom Sturridge. I think I'm saying that correctly.
Okay.
And
Tom Stir Fry.
yeah, Tom Sturridge. Now you're gonna mess me up for fucking ever. And actually, what's interesting is some of the supporting casts are solid actors. So David Thewlis, he was in the Harry Potter movies. He was Lupin.
Ah, okay, he's fun.
He was Hades in Wonder Woman.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Hades, Ares.
Ares, sorry, not Hades. Ares. Yep.
Very different guy.
Got Hades on the brain because I'm still playing that game. Fuck
Yeah,
you.
fair.
But anyways, he's in it. He does a fantastic job. There's just solid performances. I think it's interesting. We're at the point where they've swapped out some characters because I didn't finish the entire season just yet. I will
Okay.
update if it goes completely horrible. But I'm giving it a solid 4 out of 5. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, 4 out of 5.
Okay.
I think they did it well. So
I accept.
you, I'm glad. I'm glad.
Yeah. You're welcome.
All right. So you've been watching some new shit too, or
And actually, I just
finishing some
realized
shit, right?
there's another one that I didn't even tell you I watched, but
What's
I
up?
did. I've now maybe we should wait and do what we did with the Nightmare on Elm Street, and I think I did the same thing for Scream
Yeah,
and
you
maybe
watched them
Halloween as
all.
well. Yeah, so I'm 3.5 movies into Friday the 13th.
You might need to break that up in two, dude. It's like 12
There,
movies.
so just like with Nightmare on Elm Street. I didn't do the reboot. I didn't do the remake, and I didn't do Freddy versus Jason. And same with Halloween. Well, Halloween, I did do H2O and Resurrection, and then I did the first Rob Zombie remake, and I haven't done any of the other ones mostly because I haven't been able to find them.
Yeah.
But for this one, I was kind of gonna stop at Jason Goes to Hell, and then maybe do Jason
You
X and
gotta
Freddy
do Jason
versus
X.
Jason.
It's canon.
It it is.
It's canon.
It sure is.
Yup.
That's all I can say to that is yes, it sure is. Um, but yeah, so I'm redoing those. So I did but like today, I watched 2 and 3 today while I was working because I
Okay.
can.
So at this point in the Friday series, do we know
Uh,
what Jason is?
no,
Okay.
he just got the hockey mask at like halfway through number 3.
Yeah, I thought it was 3 because remember he didn't have it in 2.
Yeah, it's like halfway through 3 he gets that, and really, if anything, we've managed to muddle what we do have of his background
Hmm.
without actually answering anything new.
Okay.
Which is kind of nice though, because I will say, like, as much as I appreciated in Halloween, uh, the shape, Michael Myers, is mostly just written off as like he's evil. And I do love like I personally I don't need a huge sob story for my villains. I don't like it. I don't need it. Some folks is crazy, and that's the story we watch, right? He's crazy. How does he survive? Because he's just that fucking mean and evil. It's think of your meanest like uncle or aunt or grandparent or whatever. You know, like everybody's got like that crotchety family member, and that person lives to like 95.
Yeah, but that crossing into supernatural killer, because that's really what they are. There
Yeah.
should be some sort
Uh,
of
no, well,
magical sprinkles.
again, in Halloween, it's very hinted that he's not a person. He is the manifestation of evil in person form, which is
Mm.
why he's also called the Shape. I did still like Rob Zombie's take where he actually just gave him a background in the reboot. I liked that. That worked. That worked for me, but I get why a lot of people don't. It makes sense. It's fine. I understand
Okay.
it. With Jason, I'm hoping we get something. And weirdly, Friday the 13th, at least as far as I know, is the only one that doesn't have a reboot. Child's Play got a reboot. Halloween got a reboot. Nightmare on Elm Street got a reboot. But I don't believe there's a Friday the 13th reboot
Did
that's
they
been
already
done.
reboot it at least once?
I don't believe so.
Hmm.
I as far as I know, it hasn't gotten anything. So, and it's the hardest one to reboot, right? Because you got to do a big twist, like Mrs. Voorhees, but
Yeah.
you can't just do Mrs. Voorhees.
No, you can't.
You've got to twist it up a little more if you redo it. Off the
Time
top of your
travel.
head, what's your twist?
Time travel.
That's what you're going with.
Yeah. If
He's who's time traveling?
uh, Jason X comes back in time. He's
That's your
al-
reboot.
he's already in the future. He ends up in the back all fucking damaged and shit, and he's all like,
But isn't that a sequel, not a reboot?
I don't know.
Because if Jason X is canon and you're bringing in Jason X
Then it would be a
Jason,
soft
that's
reboot.
a sequel, bro. He's all armored up and
No,
cyber.
no, no.
He's
He loses all that shit because came through the atmosphere. There you go.
fell off.
Fucking fell off. That's what you. It's Jason. What the fuck? How much more explanation do you really need?
I think I do my best to M Night Shyamalan that shit. You got to find a twist.
No,
What's your twist?
I got this. I got this. Still time travel.
Of course.
Time travel. He ends up in the dinosaurs and gets uncovered in a fucking cave. That's how he comes back.
But it's a reboot. Why do you keep making him come back?
Because you gotta do it with Jason. You can't just start over.
I think you can.
You can't just start over.
I think you can.
I mean, at that point, like, there's not enough of a story to tell.
I think there is.
But
I think I okay.
if you're not gonna do his mom,
Considering the second movie already changes canon because in the first movie he's dead.
yeah, yeah.
So why do you need him for the first movie of your reboot? It doesn't have to be him. We can do anything, bro. The world is our oyster.
Yeah,
We're in twist territory.
but at that point, again, I'm still one of those that says that while the first Friday the 13th was a good movie, it wasn't the same movie series really. It's just
I honestly, two recreates many of the scenes of one, and three is so out of ideas it also recreates several scenes from
yeah,
one.
that's true. That's true. Um, I don't know, man. Once that twist happened, Jason became a whole other thing.
All right, you want my twist?
What's your twist? How do you bring Jason back, or how do you reboot Jason, there, big guy?
Here's my reboot, right? Okay, so I still think we need a twist because we can't just do Jason's mom again, but we got to do the same thing. We got to set it up the same, but we got to give our number two a chance to breathe and a chance to finally be our Jason movie, just like Friday the 13th Part 2. Okay. So, Jason's mom is still at Camp Crystal Lake pretending because she was the cook. She
Okay.
was actually there. She was actually the cook. She's a crazy old bitch still living on Crystal Lake when the dude tries to reopen it, still pretending to be the cook, telling the legend of her son. Right? She gets offed. Not the first one. She's like four. Make her like number four. She gets offed.
Yeah.
And then we're like, what? Jason almost drowned, and his mom was driven crazy thinking he is dead, but really it was an obsessive camp counselor who rescued him, developed herself some like a Munchausen syndrome kind of thing,
Okay.
keeps him locked up and raises him, but kills all the counselors and shit. Like does the Mrs. Voorhees thing, but really it's an obsessed camp counselor. Then at the end of our movie, she's decapitated in front of a recently loosened on the world Jason, who then freaks out and is our killer for number two. It is essentially the same progression as one and two, but we got a new twist that people won't exactly be able to predict. It still feels fresh. It flows better. It segues better. Friday the 13th reboot.
I
Shashow.
I understand what you're saying, but I feel like, well, I guess it doesn't need to not be done because I feel like that plot line's been done.
Of course it has. Everything. Simpsons did it.
No, no, they didn't. But I get your point. Um, pretty sure that's the one that they haven't done. No, I think it was like an episode of Criminal Minds or something.
Probably. Or Twilight Zone or
Yeah,
Murder She Wrote
something like
or.
that. I mean, I could see it working. I guess it depends who ends up making it and how realistic you go.
We
'Cause at
get
that point,
M. Night Shyamalan.
M Night Shyamalan. Got it. Got it. No. No, it's not that kind of twist.
That's fair. It's not aliens. That's it. The whole time,
It
it's
was-
not Jason. It's aliens.
Yeah, they got those little like Men in Black little dudes inside of them. They were the
Yeah,
ones
yeah, yeah,
killing
yeah.
everything. The reason Jason can't die is because he's just a fucking robot, you know.
The reason it's a hockey mask is because they can't recreate people faces very well.
There you go. And then in Jason X, they went with this weird muscly robot thing.
What is it with you and Jason X right now?
I love that.
Let it go.
I love that.
Let
movie.
it go.
I love that movie. Also, it had Lexa Doig, and I had a huge crush on her way back when.
There, I guess.
She was Rami in Starship Andromeda. Been in Stargate. She's been in a bunch of the shows that your wife watched. Well, not Andromeda, but like Stargate that you
Bad
would not.
sci-fi shows, yeah.
Yeah, bad sci-fi shows. I've never pulled punches on the fact that I love terrible sci-fi.
Nor should you.
There was a 2-for-1 sale on Audible recently. We are not sponsored. And yeah, I just got, I was like, shitty sci-fi. Yep, two novels.
Sold.
Tell me about an artifact that's found under the earth that may or may not be alien.
Jesus.
Things like that. Shitty sci-fi. I'm into it. Okay, so you've actually been watching some other shit that, while I am very interested in, we'll probably never be able to watch because my wife will not handle it.
No, it's not that bad. It's way kitted up.
Really?
Yep.
Oh.
Pull it
okay.
up. Put it up on the screen. There it is. Lock and Key. So I finally did season 3. I think we already talked about seasons 1 and 2, and I've already said it's a pretty major departure from the comic. Like,
Okay.
pretty major departure. I guess there's some scary stuff, but Not really any gore, not a lot of death. More just spooky
Ooh,
goings
that's nothing
on.
like the comics.
Right. Not none, just not a
Yeah, yeah.
lot. Um, and any of the deaths there are pretty tame. Uh, yeah. Look, was the show fun? Yeah. Was it interesting to see a different take on it? Yeah. Is it nearly as good as the comic? No, not at all, in my opinion. It's a pretty far cry
Yeah.
because of the softening. This feels more like a YA kind of show than it does like anything in the comic, which was a horror comic, a horror adventure, right? Like if honestly, if I could compare sort of the tone of Lock and Key to anything, I'd say like House 2.
What?
You never saw House 2?
No.
Bro.
I don't think I saw
I
House 1.
and see I know I've seen them both, but I've seen House 2 a lot more. House 2 is it's I watched it as a child because it is a horror adventure movie. And so those elements of adventure kind of, for me at least, softened the horror delivery on things. Because there's always like a spooky monster in black in fantasy. But the heroes have magic and whatever else they do, and it always works out. And so for me, horror fantasy has always been this weird, like, children acceptable horror. And that's where Lock and Key falls. It's horror fantasy.
Ah, okay.
It's not raw demons crawling through the walls and biting people's heads off or anything. It's a children's adventure with a horror lens put over it. And the third season is different. So it's both a total departure and yet something pulling directly from the comics. So the third season introduces a new villain that's not at all in the comics.
Okay.
He's a demon possessing the body of a British soldier from the Revolutionary War,
Okay.
whose goal is to combine all the keys into a mega key and blur the demon human dimensions into one.
You know, the usual megalomaniac.
That
Open the
old
gates.
cherry.
Yeah.
Um, so all of that is new. What's pulled in, I guess minor spoiler for anybody who wants to watch the show, but anybody who's read the comic will already know this. They do spoiler. That's the spoiler alarm.
Be-doo, be-doo,
Thank
be-doo.
you. So Bodhi does lose his body due to the ghost door,
Okay.
Ian Ghost Door, and spends most of the time possessed by Dodge. Here's your not spoiler. I won't tell you how Dodge comes back, but yeah, Dodge is back, and she's riding around in Bodhi. They even, not as long as it is in the comic, but they even do Bodhi's soul in a sparrow for a decent chunk of time. So they're pulling elements from the comic to finish out this last season. But
Mm-hmm.
again, it's pretty kitted up. In the comic, the situation with Bodhi losing his body is pretty dark. There's even a big chunk of time where they're all pretty sure that he's dead. Remember that Bodhi is much younger in the comic. I think he's
Yeah.
only 6 or 7. So Bodhi's dead for a big chunk of the comic because of this whole body swap thing. And in this, it only lasts for like 2 of the 8 episodes, and it's pretty much fine the whole time, and it's resolved pretty cleanly. So yeah, honestly, Eduardo, I do think this is you could watch the whole series, but now having seen it all, you could watch the whole series with your wife. She might get a little bit scared, but I don't think it's the kind of scared where she couldn't handle it. It's
Okay.
pretty if Lock and Key the comic is a fine marinara, Lock and Key is,
Ketchup.
something. It's something from a jar.
Some from a jar. Well, that's better than ketchup because at least it's fundamentally
Exactly.
the same thing.
It's better than Chef Boyardee. It's like a pretty safe
I
go-to
fucking love Chef.
pasta
I'm kidding.
sauce.
Um.
I do. I still fuck with raviolis, bro. I'm not even gonna pretend.
Oh yeah.
Spaghettios with them nasty little meatballs that I love. They're horrible, but they're great.
Yeah, I understand. They taste that have that slight tinny taste that I love.
Yes. That's why you drink soda from a can. God damn
Yeah.
it.
No, I understand.
Ooh, wait, can we take a super small departure
Sure.
for another like a random ass thing I tried?
Yeah.
A bunch of sodas have been coming out with new flavors lately,
Uh
and my
huh.
wife and I, we don't drink a lot of soda, but we'll buy one and we'll split it
Same.
with a
I get.
random
We
meal.
do that. We do the same with that stuff.
Yeah, because like we want to try it, but we just don't really drink soda. So there's new Coke Dreamland out.
Ooh, now I have to go get some right now.
No, you don't.
What is it?
It tastes like candy.
Okay, I gotta get some. Kidding. I'm
Not
kidding.
in a good way.
Oh,
I thought
gross.
like so Galaxy or whatever it was called was actually good. It was like a sweeter Coke with a little bit of like a fruit note to it. This tastes like a gummy candy, but like an off-brand one that tries to balance not having as good a flavor with having a bunch of sweetness.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, Dreamland. Try it if you feel like it. Okay. So Lock and Key. Look, uh, I liked it. It's much softer. What's nice is it's a version of Lock and Key I can suggest to normies, and they'll probably like it, and they'll probably get it, and there's a chance that they'll actually do it because there's no
Hmm.
chance that most of like my normie friends are going to pick up a comic book, right? It's just not going to happen. So it's cool that it exists. I'm glad Joe Hill was involved as much as he was. I like the end product, but can I say that it came anywhere near what the comic book was? No, I cannot. Did I already do Paper Girls on here?
I don't remember, but I am gonna watch the show.
Paper Girls is really good. It's still a departure from the comic, but I feel like in a good way. Uh, if you want a good adaptation, right now I'd say do Paper Girls over do Lock and Key.
Okay. Yeah,
If
because
you're looking for a good adaptation.
well, we gotta finish Sandman first, and then we
Yeah,
probably will.
yeah.
What is this new Coke called? Coke Dreamland?
Something like that. Dream World, Dreamland, Candy Coated Donkey's Bum, something like
Oh yeah,
that.
yeah, right here, candy coated donkey spum.
Why do I feel like spum's the word that's finally going to get us banned?
Right? I don't even know what the
That's
fuck
the
it
one
means.
that does it.
I mean, after all these years, I feel like we're kind of unbannable. No one can ban us if nobody watches us on the YouTube.
Haha.
Take
This is
that.
how we sneak through.
By the way, have you noticed that every so often my background blurs and some
Glitches.
weird shit shows up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
It's missing no.
It's it's coming back for vengeance for all those multiplication codes I used or cheat.
That's what did it.
So okay, this is it, right? This is the last season of Lock and Key.
Yeah, this is where yeah, especially with how they ended. It's pretty much
Good.
done. I guess they could do what the comic did, because the comic ends fairly definitively as well, but the way they've kept Lock and Key going is like they kind of now do sort of the history of certain keys or different families who've lived in
Hmm.
there for like little, one-shot graphic novels and things like that.
Yeah,
So I could see the show doing something like that, and that actually might be really fun. A Lock and Key anthology on Netflix would be a butt ton of fun.
yeah.
Um, Other than that,
So give the whole
getting
show a rating now that you've seen it all.
season one's pretty damn good, and then two and three they padded. Let's call it 6 out of 10.
Well, but yeah, just above the median, I guess.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It's worth a watch if it sounds at all interesting, but if it doesn't, it's not going to win you over.
Okay, fair point. I didn't even know was a thing, but new Jamie Foxx picture.
Yeah, I had kind of seen buzz about it, and you know me and Jamie Foxx. I'm not a huge Jamie Foxx fan.
Yeah,
Not that he's never done a good movie, not that he's never been in a good movie, but he has more misses than hits for me.
motherfucker just doesn't like Jamie Foxx.
I don't. Um, and then to round out the cast, you got Snoop Dogg, who again, love him or hate him, he's hit or miss on his acting stuff. He has stuff where he's great. He has stuff where he's not.
For sure.
You got Dave Franco, the Franco we're all still allowed to like.
Oh my
And then,
god.
actually, can you look up the female lead in this one for me? I know her from the sitcom Home Economics with Topher Grace. She plays Topher Grace's wife. I like that show. I like that show largely because of her. Her character's fantastic, and she's fantastic with her character. And seeing her in this was a lot of fun. She goes a little underused, in my opinion, especially considering she's the
What
main
was the
villain
name of her character?
in this.
Yes.
She'll be like one of the top billed women.
Yeah, there's three.
Give me the names.
Natasha Lou Bordizzo, Megan Good, or Carla Souza.
It's it's Carla or Natasha, whichever one is also in home economics.
Okay, well now I am on a search.
Yay! So she plays the main villain. She does a great job with it. I could have used more of her. So the whole thing is Jamie Foxx plays a pool cleaner. Air quotes. He's a vampire
Carla
hunter.
Souza
That's her? Okay.
or
She's
Souza,
great.
maybe.
She's really, really fun. Great in comedy
Souza.
and was fun in this. Souza. Um, so Jamie Foxx is a pool cleaner slash vampire hunter who is divorced or at least separated from his wife and trying to stay in his daughter's life. When one day after a vampire hunt, he is late picking up his daughter. And when he brings her home to the mother drops on him that not only does she need like $5,000 in dental work, they also need to come up with $5,000 in 1 week for her tuition to her nice private school, or the mother's going to take them to Florida, far away from, or maybe they're in Florida and shit. I don't remember where she's being taken, not to where he is,
Exactly.
far
Away
away.
from him.
And the way a vampire hunter makes his money in this world, and this was kind of fun because it's not really explained why this is worth so much money, but it's vampire teeth. Apparently, in this world, vampire teeth cannot regrow. So cut off a vampire's arm, it'll regrow his arm. Rip out a vampire's fang teeth, and it will never regrow its fangs. Uh, so they trade vampire fangs for money. That is currency in the vampire hunting world. And it's all based on the age of the vampire. So there are 5 types of vampires in this world: Easterns, Elders, Fledglings, Ubers,
Something
and
else.
fifth thing that doesn't come up. Uh, so based on what type of vampire and the age vampire gets you different amounts of money, gets you different whatever for your hunt. There also seems to be an official vampire hunters guild that pays better rates, and then there are black market places where you can go to trade these, where you're taking your risk on your rates.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing is Jamie Foxx is out for 1 week, excuse me, trying to get $10,000 to pay for all this stuff. And Dave Franco is sort of the auditor from the union who is out with him to make sure that he is staying above board as he does his hunts, because he, of course, has a history of being a loose cannon.
That's fun premise.
Yeah, carried out really well. I like that they like. There's also this running thing that drove my wife nuts. But all the vampires' homes had like 4 or 5 air conditioners hooked up, and they cooled the houses to the point where you could see your breath.
Uh-huh.
But they never really go into why, like why all the vampires prefer it cold. They just do. That's just a thing,
Yeah, why they gotta explain it?
right? They just do. They're vampires.
So they bought
like
a
it cold.
nest. Who cares?
Yeah. I don't know. It just felt fun and straightforward. I could see other movies in this world happening. Everybody did a great job, including Jamie Foxx and Snoop Dogg, who kind of plays this other vampire hunter of note. He's got a name. He's the cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It was there's actually there's a great scene where Jamie Foxx and Dave Franco, as his auditor, are teaming up with another group of hunters because they've discovered a nest at the same time.
Okay.
Super fun scene. I would absolutely watch a spinoff about these two brother hunters that come up. They're like European, vampire hunters. And they're super like Dog the Bounty Hunter looking with like
Yeah.
flak jackets and pepper spray and shit. Super fun. I would watch a whole spinoff about them. I really could see this going oh, it's not Land of the Dead. What was the of the Dead movie that just came out on Netflix?
The
Where they were
heist
like,
one?
yes. How
Was
that
it
got us
City? No. I remember.
something. It's something. But remember how that one got a spinoff all about the German guy?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
I would absolutely watch a spinoff about these two characters. I could totally see this becoming like a little Netflix world and franchise, much like they wanted what was it, Daybreak or whatever it was, the fantasy cop one with Will Smith that was so close to being good.
Oh,
Just
Shine?
missed the mark. Sure,
I
whatever
think it
the
was
fuck that was
Shine.
called.
It wasn't bad. I didn't hate it. I don't know what everybody
It still
hated
was
about it.
because it was generic shit.
But it was
It
it was generic shit in the right direction.
it was my first D20 modern game,
That's fine.
I guess.
But you
Okay, so you accept the first Dungeons and Dragons movie because that was just as stupid and ridiculous as everybody's first D&D game.
but my point is that it's a good stepping stone because the world made sense. So
Yeah, I
leave
would have taken something
it,
else, just drop
that's
those two
exactly it.
characters. Yes.
Leave that where it is. It's
Yeah.
called Bright, I think. Leave that where
Ooh,
it is.
maybe.
Huh? I'm
Maybe,
pretty
yeah.
sure it's called Bright. Leave that where it is, and then focus more on like the rest of the world. What's going on? So you discover that there's all of a sudden a Bright. Motherfucker gets whisked away. What happens in the world? Go. Like I think that would
Yeah.
be cool.
Yeah. I don't know.
I
So,
too have
this
ideas. So give it a rating.
man, I'm surprised I'm going this high. Let's go with like an 8 out of 10.
Nice.
Like, definitely has its problems. Not every scene is great. They underuse the villain a little bit, but all in all, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I liked it. Shocked.
Did you ever actually watch Vampires with the Bon Jovi one, Los Muertos or whatever?
No, Dust Till Dawn 3 or whatever it
No,
was.
no, no, no. It was a different series. It was the John Carpenter series. So it was
Is
John
that
Carpenter's Vampires. I think it was 2.
Vampire Diaries?
No,
Bon Jovi Vampire movie or show?
movie. Definitely a movie.
Oh, Vampires Los Muertos.
Yep. I think it was 2.
Direct to video Western horror film written by Tommy Lee Wallace and starring John Bon Jovi as a vampire hunter.
Have you? I imagine you
a sequel to the original
with
1998
James
film
Woods.
Vampires. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
have you seen any of these?
No.
So these were the horror in the same era of Bordello of Blood and those films. Like, they're not amazing, but they're fucking hilarious. Like, it's again, it's a step above trauma, but still, you're playing in the same sandbox.
Sure.
I don't hate them. I thought they were fucking interesting, but yeah.
I mean, it's a John Carpenter film, so I'm more interested in it now.
Yeah, so the original Vampires is not bad. It's James Woods. It's not bad.
You've got James Woods. Just speaking like a John Carpenter film I haven't seen. You and I were talking earlier about just picking up some of these horror box sets for some of the series I'm having a hard time finding consistently on streaming services. And so I looked into a Critters box set, but there's not like a nice big Critters box set. There's only 5 films total. And the one I found had 4 in there, but I'll be honest, I probably haven't seen all of the Critters movies as much as I loved the first 2.
I haven't seen any of the fucking Critters movies.
God, they're ridiculous. But I when I looked up the box set and saw it only had 4, I was like, isn't there a 5th one? I should look it up. And I went and I looked up the 5th Critters film on Wikipedia, and it's called like Critters Attack or Critters Live or something. And I was like, oh, maybe I should make sure I get a box set with this in there. Then I saw who wrote it, and I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to watch Critters 5.
Who wrote Critters 5?
Scott fucking Lobdell.
Wait, why does that sound familiar?
He wrote the New 52 Teen Titans.
Oh,
and
okay.
then, do you remember the Buffy comics, but not the good new ones from Boom? The ones from Dark Horse were like Dawn's a Giant and, oh my god, why can I only think of his real name and not his name in the show? The best friend who's just a human.
The best friend of who?
Buffy.
Oh, Xander?
Xander! I don't know why I couldn't think of his name, but like Xander's like Nick Fury, complete with eye patch.
Well, yeah, but he loses his eye in the show.
Yes, but I mean, literally, he runs an organization.
Oh.
Have you not read this?
I've not.
It's horrible.
I read the
It's one of-
Angel Dark Horsey stuff, but I did not read the fucking Buffy.
It's It's so bad we had most of it and just gave it to my brother because I know he's a much bigger Buffy fan and
Yeah,
maybe he would appreciate. Scott Lobdell's a horrible writer, and this is all rumor, all conjecture. I'm not saying I know anything, but there are lots of articles about him also being a not great human being. I'm not going to dive into it, but there's also that.
fun.
Um, I hate Scott Lobdell so much, and I'm a little disappointed because he actually did one movie franchise I enjoyed. Do you remember? I talked about him a lot. Do you remember Happy Death Day?
Yeah,
He wrote the Happy Death Day movies, which guts me because I loved those, and I hate Scott Lobdell. He's such a bad writer. But even a broken clock is right twice a day, and he did it with
oh
Happy
man,
Death Day. Um, fuck, dude. Now I don't know if I'm gonna watch Critters 5 ever or not. Hate Scott
I
Lobdell.
think you're gonna watch it just to watch it at least once and never
Probably
again.
will.
Um,
Ugh.
have you watched Love and Thunder?
No.
You know, is it weird that I'm really burnt out on the Marvel films?
I mean, I get it. I'm personally not, but I get it.
It's just more like I'm not even the shows. I'm not jumping out to go watch them as soon as they come out. Like I'll get to it when it's convenient. Like
I'm more rabid for the shows than I am for the movies. The movies, like, and I'm just so turned off by the idea of going to a theater at this point. There's certain stuff I'll
same.
break for and I'll go. But like Spider-Man, I was just getting told left and right that it's crazy good, and there were tons of spoilers and yada yada yada. And then same for Doctor Strange. I had already gotten some spoilers.
And I
And
went
like,
to a drive-in for Doctor Strange.
for Love and Thunder, I haven't seen any spoilers. I've seen it's been getting mixed reviews, so I was like, you know what? I'll just wait for it to come out on
Yeah.
free on Disney Plus, and I'll just do it that way. That's kind of how I'm treating those more. The shows I watch, but honestly, me and my wife are almost always looking for more stuff to watch because we just consume media
Yeah, no,
efficiently.
I understand that. I'm
Yeah,
I'm
but
rewatching
I get
Eureka
the
for that
burnout.
same reason.
I know the next two phases. There's nothing that I'm really like, fuck, I can't wait for that, except for Fantastic Four.
I think that one will be interesting. Have they haven't talked about a cast yet, right?
From what I've read, they just landed on the cast, like contract signed. The director and the cast just signed contracts, and it will be announced at D23, which is in 2022 is going to be September 9th. So the rumor right now is September 9th they will fully announce the cast for Fantastic Four.
Do you think one of them is gonna reprise their role from Multiverse of Madness?
You asking if I think Krasinski's going to do it?
Yeah,
He has
technically it was
made
a
it
spoiler, but
he has made it sound as if he has not gotten it, but that could just be him trying to throw people off the trailer. I'd like to see it. I think he did a fun job in the small bit that he had in
yeah.
that movie. I think he could do a great job with a full role.
I could see him
But
as a Richards.
I also see other people working really well for it.
Okay, so give me your fantasy cast for Fantastic Four then.
I don't have one.
Like,
No. Just being legit. I don't really. I'm not as familiar with some of the younger actors who are out there and who are like hot names right now.
yeah,
I just don't know a lot of those folks because I'm not consuming that lane of media right.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm watching 80s horror movies right now. I don't know who's available for these roles. I more look for personality types that people can capture in fun ways. Here's one thing I will say they need to consider with Namor already being cast and existing in Black Panther, we need to make sure that whoever gets picked for Sue Storm has chemistry with Namor, because that needs to be a thing. Because Namor is supposed to be obsessed with her.
yeah, that's true. Well, if not chemistry, at least some sort of
Something. There
something.
needs to be that's a relationship that you have to consider already,
For
and
sure.
it already has
we'll,
to work.
We'll just cast Ezra Miller Ezra Miller as the fucking Human Torch. You know
That
that's the
whole
thing.
fucking I like that. I think Chris Evans had said he wants to come back as Human Torch now that he's done with Captain America. Honestly, though,
That'd be
I could also
hilarious.
buy him for Mr. Fantastic, like in a weird, stupid way.
Yeah.
It'd be dumb, but it'd be fun.
No, I think he could do it. I honestly, if it wasn't that he's already Stark, I think Downey would also make a fun Richards. He'd have to
Who?
be
Oh, Downey. I heard
Yeah.
Danny.
no. Robert Downey Jr. But yeah, I think he would be able to do a fun Richards if he wasn't already Iron Man.
If we're talking Ben Grimm, I liked the first guy more than the second guy.
Okay, yeah.
I don't remember either. The guy from the Shield, not whoever the fuck it was, and
Well, nowadays for Ben Grimm, you can get what was that actor's name? They call him the Mountain. You got folks like that.
you could, but his accent is really, really thick.
Ah, you don't think he could do an American or a Brooklyn accent?
No, I don't.
Okay,
No,
fair
I
enough.
don't. No, I do not. Um, yeah, I don't know. It really depends on what direction they want to take a few characters in. Honestly, and here's the god honest truth. I think there's lots of people who could do any of the Fantastic Four. I think you need to focus on your Doctor Doom.
I didn't hate the one for when Jessica Alba, that iteration. I like that actor. I thought he did
Oh
fine.
yeah, I don't know his name, but yeah, he did great.
I
Um,
unfortunately the rest of the movie crumbled around him, but you know.
well, but yeah, and honestly, do you want my real guess? I think King the Conqueror is a fake ass lead up. I think
Okay.
any of the villains they're going to put in front of us are fake ass lead ups because Doctor Doom is such a skeeving, conniving piece of fuck. Doesn't matter how extra dimensional, universally powerful you are. At the end of the day, it's all a plan from Doctor Doom. I'm actually willing to bet that Kang is just going to lead to Galactus, and defeating Galactus will just give Doctor Doom his setup to actually be the big bad because Doctor Doom is always the big bad. It's Doctor fucking Doom.
Yeah, even in the comics, man, he brings it.
Dude, Doctor Doom is at 616. Doctor Doom is the one who brings out who brings down Ultimate Richards, who becomes the uber villain and basically destroys the Ultimate Universe single-handedly. Did you know this?
I did.
Oh,
I actually
it's
did. I
I'm really looking forward to getting to that point. Now that I own all of Ultimate, I can start getting the little bits of Ultimate comics that I want that will go over just that plot line.
so when they bring in Galactus, you think they're gonna do Galactus now that the Marvel movies have introduced more of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think they can do the scale and not do a giant cloud and actually be a big purple fuck off robot with a crown.
Yeah, I thought that was fucking really obnoxious when they did the
It was
cloud thing.
dumb. It was
I'm
super
like,
dumb. And then DC tried to do it again with Parallax, and it just didn't fucking work. It should have been the Parallax entity. It should have been a big fucking yellow sky monster.
it
Didn't
really
work.
should have been.
Uh, Good news out of DC. Apparently, with all the cancellations, they've confirmed that Blue Beetle and Green Lantern are still happening.
I
So
want
Green
more
Lantern's going to be a show.
Constantine. God damn it.
Green Lantern's going to be a show
Oh, nice.
by Greg Berlanti,
Oh,
whose stuff is fine. Maybe getting away from CW, he'll do it a little less YA, but
I don't think so.
it's Greg Berlanti.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's okay. He's got a type.
uh, and I'm pretty sure it's a show about multiple Green Lanterns at once. From what I've seen of the casting, let's just say it's not any of the ethnic Green Lanterns.
Oh my god. Oh, at a time when you just maybe need some of the pre-existing characters to come through.
I'm pretty sure it's Hal and Kyle.
Although I love that team up, you gotta do maybe do three of them then.
You either do a John and Guy one, or you do Hal and Guy.
Yeah, yeah,
Or sorry, not Hal.
yeah.
Kyle and Guy. I actually wouldn't do Hal at all. I skip Hal completely. But Blue Beetle still happening. Jaime Reyes, big techie cyber suit, lots of it filmed. Should be really good. I don't know. The Batgirl thing, like, a lot of people keep talking about the implications of it and how bad it looks, and I don't disagree. Even if that wasn't what they meant, it looks so bad. Why would that be the one you pick to drop, especially when you have a problem child actor, like, actively being a bad
I
person?
think you release it
But
quietly on your streaming service. I think that's what you do.
look, I'm just going to be the one to ask the question and lay it out there, and then maybe we'll just leave abruptly after that, yeah?
Sure.
Have any of us stopped to consider that maybe, just maybe, it just turned out really bad?
That's
It's
actually
happened before.
that's my leading, that's my leading theory, is that it's just bad.
It
But
would not be the first movie to get canceled because they spent a lot of money and then went, fuck, all we have is shit.
I know, but with how much bullshit they've released, the problem is that how bad would it have to
So,
be?
well, and here's my thing is, if they canceled it for being bad, think of how bad it must be. Because look at the stuff they did release.
Yeah, but again, at that point, just because of the Keaton cameo, you you release it quietly on your streaming service.
Never forget that one of the first drafts of the Wonder Woman movie was done by Joss Whedon, and there was a whole scene where Wonder Woman was broken up with by her boyfriend and ate a pint of ice cream on her couch while crying. Bad ideas get way too far into production.
That's true. But I don't know. I'm just saying. The problem
Maybe
is
bad.
either tell us why you didn't release it, or fucking
But
release
but
it.
then but then it looks like, honestly, just kind of shutting it down and letting people come to their own conclusions is better in any case. Because if it is bad and you go, no, we just made a bad film, well, then the actors are going to get blamed, the director's going to get blamed. Like people will lose work if you go, that
That's
sucked.
true. That is a
It's
very fair point.
to quietly just shut it down. Like, nope, we're not going to release it.
Well, that
Let
actually
people run their
reminds me of
speculation.
Jason Momoa. There was just an article about him, basically saying like, yeah, that Conan movie was shit.
It was though.
I
It was really bad.
I don't remember it at this point. I don't.
I made it into a drinking game because it was one of those movies that just tried to go so over the top with its kills that basically anytime we went, oh, like anybody in the room goes, oh, at a kill, we took a shot. But then after like 4 or 5 shots, everything had to just go, oh. We killed like a handle of Jaeger that night.
I can imagine. No, that one and what was it? That Hercules movie with The Rock.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, that one was. I don't. I again cheesy shit. I'm into it, but it wasn't the worst, but wasn't great. We watched it in one of those big comfy theaters, and I think the big comfiness totally made up for the horrible movie.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, killer, play us out.
All right, check us out Monday nights. We are here 7 to 9, 7 to 8 Pacific. I don't know what I'm doing in 5D podcasts on YouTube. Tuesday nights, twitch.tv/Metagame Network. We play games with some folks from the audience. TK had actually stopped in for a couple of weeks again after not being able to. I don't know if he'll be here this week. I believe not. But either way, check us out. 7 to 9 Pacific. Final words, Bonsai.
Don't do any of that stuff he just said.
Or how about do drugs and that stuff I said? They're about the same.
Winning.
Bye.